This is the Rad Mini from Rad Power Bikes. It's the same price as their full-size Rad Rover, and it actually shares a lot of the same characteristics. So it has a 750 watt internally geared rear motor, fat bike specific by Bafang. I really like this thing. I mean, it's quieter than some of the other motors that I've tried, even when you're just gunning it and you're going at high speed. The battery offers the same watt hours. It's 48 volt, 11.6 amp hours, but it's slightly heavier. This one's like 7.8 pounds versus 7.2 on that mid frame. You know, that's a really nice style. It's very compact. It has a USB charger built into the side, but they just don't have room for that on this folding mini fat bike platform. So they've gone with the behind the seat tube design, and it works okay. You know, it's solid. It's got like aluminum sides, and that's probably why it weighs a little bit more. The bike itself is about 62.1 pounds versus about 63 pounds. And it's kind of surprising because you look at this and you think, oh, well, it's going to weigh less. It's smaller. And that's not necessarily the case. They've overbuilt the frame, so it's got like that top tube and kind of a curved down tube, so it keeps it stiff and really sturdy and solid, even though it does fold. There are a couple different folding points. Before we do that, it's about 26 inches standover height. This is my girlfriend Moni. How's it going, babe?
Hi.
And you've been riding this like kind of all day, having fun.
Yeah,
and
it's a really nice bike.
About how tall are you?
5'1".
5'1". Will you mind, standing over it real quick? And because that's the thing about this, you want to be able to go with your friends, and not everyone is super tall. See, she's still got a little bit of clearance down there, but you might also notice there are a couple nicks and things because of this folding bracket, and this quick release skewer was up before, and it seemed like it was kind of poking you. Do you have any other feedback? I mean, just generally about what it's like to ride this?
I like it. It's light. I mean, kind of light, easy to ride. At the beginning it was kind of scary, you know, because it's like really loose sand and whatever, but then you get used to it and you have fun. It's a lot of fun.
Thank you. And a lot of what she's referring to is not only was this like her first time on an electric bike, but it's like a fat bike, and we're at the beach where it's really soft sand, and it is. This is like soft, loose sand, and then as you get closer out to the ocean, it firms up a little bit. But we had the tires too full, and part of that's because right here on the sidewall, it says inflate to 35 psi. Like, don't do that, okay? If we come over here to the Rad Rover, the sidewalls say like 5 to 30 psi, and 30 should only be used if you're on like concrete or hard packed dirt. Rolling with a little bit of a lower pressure, tire pressure, gives you some cushion suspension, because this doesn't have like a seat post suspension. There's no fork suspension. You're really relying on those tires to kind of cushion things, and this nice velo saddle. So I think for the sand, we've been at like 5 to 7 psi, and we've kind of been winging it, you know, squeezing this and trying to gauge. Depends on how much the passenger weighs, because if you're a larger person, well, you know, you don't want to take it too low, or it's really getting squishy and you could potentially cause a flat. I love that the front wheel is quick release, so you could take that off pretty easily if you were transporting this, reduce the weight. Again, the battery's removable, which is nice. 180 millimeter mechanical disc brakes, front and rear, so a lot of stopping power, the same stopping power as the Rad Rover back there, the same levers. I love these. Tektro, they've got the rubberized front part of the grip, a little bell. Sorry, it's kind of loud. It's a little startling. And then we've got a 7-speed drivetrain. They're just using the basic Shimano tourney, kind of basic, but I love that they've got a derailleur protector, and that's also going to protect where the cable goes for the motor for power. So it's really well thought out. I think they've designed it well, and I like almost everything about it, you know, including these little racks. We were talking about like different folding fat bikes before, and you know, going on a tour. We're here in Mexico on the Baja Peninsula thanks to Cabo Adventures. They invited us out. They were like, hey, you know, we want to do a tour with electric bikes on the beach. Can you help us determine which bikes to use and help us teach us how to set them up? So we got a bunch of these bikes, and we're just testing them out and getting to know the differences. And one of the things is like, okay, well, if, you know, a woman or a man, someone's riding this and they want to take their camera and they want to take like a purse or a bag, they can put it right here. It's not the best design because, you know, when you turn, see how that tray also turns? It means you can kind of dump your stuff. You park this. The kickstand is adjustable, so you can try to get it straight up. But the way it's set up right now, the bike kind of leans and the front sort of swivels to the side.
This one doesn't have anything to do with the water, so that will help, you know.
That's
carry
true.
The water.
That's very true.
And pick up trash.
We were doing a little bit. So some of the other ones have like spring-loaded latch racks, whereas this one's kind of a telescoping rack. It actually extends backwards. It's really unique. It's all aluminum, the entire frame, and we've got a couple lights. So this one's independent. It's Spaninga in the back, so you kind of got to worry about turning it on and off. The front light is wired in, so it runs off the main battery pack. You don't have to worry about it as much, and when you turn, it points where you're turning. So that's, you know, it's kind of more than you expect, or what I would expect from what's really kind of an off-road bike, to have some lights and stuff. But if you're using this in the snow, it'd be nice, because a lot of times it's darker, and that's another application for fat tire bikes, is snow, soft terrain. One thing I really love about this one is that they've got this bar here, this rest bar for when you fold it, because the front part kind of swings to the side. That's going to protect the front chainring, which is larger than on the traditional Rad Rover. I believe that one's like 42 and this one's like 48, so it's larger with more teeth to sort of compensate for the smaller wheels. So that way your pedal cadence feels natural. And again, you've got 7 gears. It actually feels kind of nice. I've got the full specs and some of the standover height and the other geometry information back at the site. Still only a 6 magnet cadence sensor on this, so there's a little bit more of a delay when you're starting to pedal before it kicks on, and when you stop pedaling and the motor cuts out. But these brake levers do have motor inhibitors, so thankfully, if all else fails, you're just like, brake, and the bike stops, right? You don't have to worry about getting out of control. But we're kind of learning here. We're on this unstable terrain. There have been a couple times where you're riding and just kind of like just threw the bike away, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what you should do. I mean, it's pretty tough. You don't want to hurt yourself. I like the grips on this one. They're kind of ergonomic, and they're a little bit larger for your hands. They're not like super soft or anything, and they do twist if you really bear down on them. They're not locking. Oh yeah, pretty tough getting that thing twisted around. But you'll notice a big red button. That's so you can completely disengage the throttle, which is nice, because if you are on unstable terrain and you're learning, it's just one more thing to potentially bump. The throttle overrides at level 0 all the way up to level 5 levels of pedal assist. Here's the display. We were talking about this earlier. We're just getting started, and it was like, why isn't the bike working? There's a 2-step on-off process on both of these Rad Power bikes, okay? That one, you've got a little silver button. This one, you have to turn the key all the way to on, and you do have to leave it in, which means it jingles, but at least it's pretty clear out of your way. You're not passing that with your feet or with your legs. You're not going to get bumped and scraped. But you do have to remember to do that. Then you come up here, you hold the mode button for a couple seconds. There we go. And we got our trusty king meter. It's fixed, so it swivels a little bit, but it's not something you can remove very easily. We were talking about pedal assist earlier. Go all the way down to 0, the throttle will work, and you'll get to use this like a cycle computer. If you want, you can turn on the front light by holding mode and up. And you can see the little light icon right there, so that's lit up now. And this is also backlit. Otherwise, we've got 5 little battery bars for how full it is. We've got our odometer, speedometer, watt meter, and then if you hit mode again, it changes to trip distance. And if you hold up and down, it goes into a menu where you can set how large your wheel is and change some of the speed characteristics, top speed. So there's really a lot of cool features, stuff that you've kind of come to expect over the years. I don't think anything on this bike is like especially innovative. I think it's solid equipment from a company with a decent warranty. It's 1 year comprehensive for the original owner, and I think the price is great, and I love that it comes in black and white, so it can kind of do like a his and hers sort of a setup. It looks really handsome. And then down here in this box, that's where the kind of the controller is, so kind of keep that in mind. It's nicer than on the other Rad Rover where it's stuck behind the seat tube. I like that this is a little more contained, but it's kind of an old school design. I've seen this before, and they've just done it really well at a good price point. Also, I think I was saying over here, I love that there's the derailleur protector, but there's also a slap guard. So it's pretty quiet riding this thing. When you're bouncing up and down, the chain, it's not chipping the aluminum, and because there's a plastic chain guide, it's not falling off. A couple times when I was riding this bike, going faster, not pedaling, the chain just bounced right off. And on this bike, that hasn't happened. It hasn't been a problem. So 27.2 millimeter seat post if you wanted to do a thud buster or a body float to add some cushion, but just using the tires at a little bit lower PSI and standing up on the pedals. Well, I want to call out these pedals. Welgo, they're aluminum alloy. They're folding, of course. Just kind of squeeze it in like this, then tip it forward, right? That's going to make it even more compact, but they're more solid than like the plastic ones. So upgrades, upgrades all around on this bike. One thing I did notice is that putting the battery pack on, I kind of had to really make sure it was seated well in order for that key to lock and this pin to fit into that rail back here. I think that's pretty comprehensive. You have any other thoughts?
The only thing that I didn't like about the bike was this part over here.
Yeah.
You know? I think it's like in the middle. Bothers me a little bit when I'm down.
Yeah.
And I hit myself twice yesterday, so you can see my bruises.
Oh yeah, like right there on your leg.
Yeah, here and here.
It's kind of a bummer.
So yeah, you just need to be careful, extra careful with that.
Okay, thank you.
You get used to.
Well, part of that is so that they can fold it. Should we do that? Do you want to help me fold it real quick?
Let's do that.
If you hop off and hold the camera, I'll try to fold it. I'm really not, like, folding bikes is never my favorite thing to do. It's heavy and stuff. Again, this is about as heavy as the other one. You know, usually I make sure that the throttle is disengaged and that the bike's completely off before you start to fold, because it's easy to forget and then the bike starts to take off and get squirrely on you. I undo this quick release right at the middle, and then I think you have to kind of lift it up a little bit like this, and then the bike starts to fold. There we go. Whoops, get a little bit snag on my pants there. Bringing it back like that, and this is where that center bar kind of protects that chain ring. You can see we're in the sand. That kind of sucks. You don't want to get a lot of sand in there. It's bad for the chain, the derailleur. There's an extra locking piece right here, like piece of plastic, that keeps this quick release from unhinging. But once you do that, this folds down like that. Okay, so you can kind of get the idea of, you know, how big it is. It's still a fat bike. It's still, you know, larger tires, larger, wider dropouts. But this is more compact. You can put this in the back of your car maybe, or in your truck, or in your RV. A lot of people we talk to, it's like, oh, I'm traveling, you know, I want bikes that I can take with me and go anywhere. And these totally do. Like, we rode our bike down this little, I don't know, it's almost like a little river. If it was raining, probably wouldn't want to be here. Yeah. And then out to the beach, and I think that's awesome. You can totally do that with these bikes. Okay, I'm gonna hop on this one. Also, you get, you know, a lot more kind of torque, like mechanical advantage, because of the smaller wheel. It's not having to rotate this big heavy thing. So on this one, it can spin out like that pretty easily, so you want to start slow and steady. That's what you were telling me the other day, right? Like, kind of ease into it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'll give it a try.
Go ahead.
I'll give it a go. Thank you. Kind of on an uphill here. Just using the throttle along with my foot to get going. Look at that. I got it. It's doing it, you know? Wow. That is cool. And this is getting a little more packed back here. You could take this thing like anywhere around here. I guess as long as there's a trail. I wouldn't want to get those cactus thorns in the tube. Okay, let's take it back out towards the beach now. Whoa, yeah. I mean, it's just a little dune buggy. This thing it's rad. Whoa! Let's do a little slide out. Use that rear brake. I mean, that's awesome. I think there's some more soft sand over here. I'm gonna go hit that, do a little climb. There we go. Oh yeah, and when there are tire tracks like this in the road, you just gotta kind of take it easy, a little slower on the turns. Whoa! And that's the thing, you might have just seen, if the tire starts to lose traction, you sort of slide on the front. It's a little bit different. It sort of accentuates what would happen if you're on a traditional bike on pavement on a wet day. You know, there's a little bit more slippery, but I mean, this thing is really holding its own out there. I'm really impressed. Even the smaller wheels work well, but keep your eye on this quick release lever, because if you put it up, or if you're someone who's a little shorter like Moni, my girlfriend, she was just saying, oh, I kind of came down on this and bumped my knee, and you can get scraped up and stuff. So you want to just keep that in mind. Here we go. Here we go. No problem keeping up, huh? There you go. My turn. That's awesome. It's so great to come with friends, you know, everyone can ride. Hey, how's it going? We got the bigger bikes for the taller guys, and my girlfriend Moni is on another small one like this, and just the standover height makes it so approachable. Go ahead, I'll follow you. Yeah, having fun. No problem keeping up, huh? Here we go, my turn. Look at that, just climbing right up. Do some rocky riding here. Oh yeah. All-wheel drive. And those hard stops too. Brake smoothly. So I think that's about it. That's the RadMini. How did you feel about the twist throttle? You know, versus the trigger throttle?
I like it more.
You like it more?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, this is kind of the personal preference thing, because some people are like, I like the thumb throttle, and other people are like, oh,
No, I really like this one.
you like the twist throttle. I think if they just had a 12
Getting
magnet,
more excited.
get it? Yeah, it's like like kind of a motorcycle
Yeah,
feel, huh?
Yeah.
But without all the noise. Like, that's awesome. Well, guys, I hope you had fun. It's neat to ride this thing around on the beach and just, you know, see the sights and get out there. For the full write up on this and some more fat bikes, a couple folding bikes as well, I'll see you back at ElectricBikeReview.com. And of course, as always, ride safe.
Adios.